we have the big class, and then from there, when you come up with whatever type of assessment tools you want to use, then that will determine your breakout.
Right.
Blue collar, white collar, what
absolutely.
No collar.
And that is contextualized design. That's it in a nutshell. That's exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Definitely. And so I'm going to look at some of our notes, because I think we had cranked through these, and I'm not going to share them because it seems like they get really blurry when I break out and everything's kind of pixelated. But we were able to talk through with Miss Mimi some of the things. So I'm going to see if I can bring up one of those videos that we had. It was a pretty cool segment. I have been doing some uploads. Those I did a quick upload, so I haven't done any editing for those. But I think now would be a perfect time to take a look at it. And I think it's really cool that things are growing, that folks are seeing it, right? So that means, visibility. We've gotten having folks chime in and be able to chime in other than through text isn't something that we've been able to do. So that's really cool. Shout out to us,
Woo-hoo.
games, you know what I mean? Got to celebrate those baby steps.
Well, I see the progress.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. I haven't published the last ones. Let me see. See what I got here. But again, the purpose is to just be figuring out how to do this in a meaningful way and how to transfer this process to folks so that it won't be as difficult as a process when they are deciding to start on their own or go in their direction or figure out how to get things jump started. It's always good to have some kind of guidance on how to do these things. And so let me see if I can get to my dashboard and upload some videos. Ding. That is the objective. So let's see. So we had a nice little 10-minute segment with Miss Mimi.
Yes.
And I'll let her.
She's one of your friends.
She's a connection through the network. She's in the network because of my connection to Pittsburgh, and I think there's a good chance that the folks she knows happen to know me. I was able to get visibility in Pittsburgh after doing the Juneteenth event. There was an organization, a restaurant, in fact, called Conflict Kitchen that only served food from countries that were in conflict with the United States. And I approached them around 2014 as I was doing my Tea on Me things. And that was an opportunity to collaborate with businesses and hear about what they were doing, figure out how we can do things together. And she came through and I said, don't you think Black folks at this point are at war with the United States too? Maybe we should be doing a Juneteenth, maybe we should do a Juneteenth menu. See how that goes. And that ended up happening for 2 years. And I think that was a lot of the visibility that came in, where a lot of my friends that have been dropping in have come from that arena there in Pittsburgh. So as for me, let's see here. I'm excited. We're creating some digital artifacts, putting our digital footprint out there. So that for me is really important, because I've always kind of hesitated on doing those kind of things and figuring out, just wanting it to be perfect. And so, imperfect start is better than some other saying that I can't remember now. But the point is, just get started. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started.
Into work hard. Work hard is boring. You got your suit and tie. You got your vocabulary that's stiff and staid, and it's becoming obsolete, especially in having our children to be able to understand it. They want to be able to relate to a billionaire like Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Gates is not going to be their role model. you know, but Jay-Z stands a better chance. T.I., you know, who, you know, however they relate.
Beyonce.
We're changing the who we look up to, the generations. I'm saying it's because I know it and I see it, but I also know it from my experiences in the classroom. And when I see some of my former students like working out at working jobs in Walmart and different places around town, and they see me, I'm like, yo, what's up, Quan? Hey, Mr. Buffalo, how you doing? Whereas if I was like, good morning, Quan, how are you? How do you do, Mr. Buffalo? I mean, you got this whole cultural, it just goes downhill, you know, and so.
And that's funny that the first part of that one, that segment is the one where we're talking about just being relatable, right? Like that is the opportunity to be related, to create these relationships, because what any kind of psychology, child psych, education paper that you'll find, any white paper will tell you that if research has been done, creating relationships with students is the best thing that you could do in terms of transferring knowledge to them and figuring out exactly and helping them engage and connect with the material. Interestingly enough, that was not the clip that I was expecting to show, but that was from our Miss Mimi connection. She was able to, Miss Mimi's Kinder connection was there chatting with us, and so I'm going to pull out the other one. See if I can get that shareable link here.
I was an educator, and so I started Mimi's Kinder Connection because there was a need out there for non-traditional programming, such as financial literacy and cooking and many other areas that I feel that the children deserve to be able to do. But I also am a doula who works with birth families as well as postpartum families, and I do events throughout the city. Such as like working with the Phipps Conservatory to do their children's area and making sure that that is set up in a family fun way while still getting them to be able to learn many new skills in a hands-on way.
Now you can tell that Miss Mimi was over there composing herself with that baby. Okay, she was over there keeping it together as our little guy was cheering us on and stuff. And so, you know, the cool thing about the work that she's doing is that it starts really early, and I think that that may be even more of the kicker here than anything else. It's like, hey, let's just make sure that we're starting really early, and that's definitely a big deal. Yesterday, thinking about some of the discussion from yesterday that kind of went multiple ways, but we were also talking self-care. And so in the discussion about self-care and things like that, as the night went on, I stumbled across footage with Mike Tyson. So did you see my rant?
I saw some of those.
Did you see my
yes.
stretch of threads over and over again with old Iron Mike? Yeah. So, you know, want to talk about starting early. You know, this is a guy that once it all came out, you know, not everybody would know, but this is somebody who, you know, when you talk about the level of abuse and what he was exposed to, you know, he was saying that he was you know, drinking, smoking, and introduced to drugs. His mom was an alcoholic, you know, and as early as 10 and 11 years old, he was, you know, he was a madman and doing whatever he was. Maybe not even a madman yet because he was a kid, he was a baby, but exposed to so much at an early age. And then as early as 12, you know, somehow introduced to his mentor, who was then taking him to a hypnotist. Take him to a hypnotist and programming him, you know. And so it's really vital to really consider he completely separates from that identity. That Mike is not an identity he wants to connect to. And so I guess I just attempted to bring it full circle as we moving through community development. Today we're talking about financial literacy. Of course, every other day, and tomorrow at 12 we'll be talking community by design. And it's all really connected because we're trying to make sure that we're resilient both emotionally, spiritually, and financially, and physically. Those things are areas where we're trying to make sure that we are really resilient in, and so forth. But I think we have to really be willing to consider how vital early education is for folks. It's a big deal. How people are talking to their babies as early as before they are born. Reading to kids, I can tell for a fact that my child's love for music is connected to the fact that her dad would always put his headphones to my stomach. And so, getting in spaces where loud music is booming, that's her happy place, And so how we're designing our communities, how we're setting up our financial literacy resilience, and how we're making sure that we're equipped to handle the emotional and the spiritual and the physical kind of constraints or things that are going to come at us is a matter of really doing the collaboration. Everybody over the last week has been bringing in really cool pointers, really, kind of shaping what this is really all about. This is co-development. This isn't just Toya going off on a rant and doing whatever she says thinks works. No, we've been able to see and figure out together what could be useful together, and it's really important. And it's important to also know that we can be whoever we decide and set our mind up and train and program our brains to be.
I just the link that you sent me that got me right into you.
Yes.
I sent that to a few people, and what I didn't do was put a little personal note to go with it. So I knew what you sent it to me for, so I just boom hit it, and they came in, and I just saw I sent one to Rodney Pierce, and I don't know if you noticed, he had tried.
I did.
And I don't know whether he's going to try to come back or not, but I just forwarded